Hi, Rolf Snowbeck here. I wanted to share with you an emotional phone call that I got this week from a long-term customer. He was afraid to call me because he had some bad news. All of his capital budgets had been pulled for 2020, which meant they have to pull back a purchase order that they'd issued to us for a re-roof project that was supposed to happen in July. He assumed I'd be furious with him. At the end of the day, it's not his fault. It's not my fault. It is what it is. But, after I talked him off the cliff a little bit, we chatted some more, and I got to be thinking how this has to be affecting not only his business, but other large corporations. I wanted to talk a little bit about that. And, specifically, he shared with me a couple of his big issues. He's really frustrated. He spent years putting together the justification for this project, and just like that, the project has been pulled. All that work's out the window. He's very concerned that he won't get the budget for it again next year, and this will get pushed out even further. And he's also unhappy because for years he's been promising the folks at this plant that their leaks will be taken care of, and now he knows they're going to keep calling and grousing, and he's got to put up with that. So, what's he going to do? We thought about it some more, and I reminded him about a conversation we had a couple times over the last few years about, instead of spending so much money on capital work, carving out some money from that and doing better preventive maintenance and repairs. It didn't resonate with him at the time because he had plenty of capital money. And that's something that I run into quite often at most companies. They tend to have two silos, the capital silo and the operations and repair silo. And they can't think between them. If you look at, this is a typical spend for large industrial companies for their operating budget, typically about 40% would be for capital expense, Capex. In this case, that just disappeared for him. Typically, you find about 35% have planned repairs of all types for the facilities. And there's another bucket over here, typically about 28% for unplanned things that come up. And in my conversation with him, I reminded him, I said, this money here is now more important. His operating budget has not been touched, just the capital part. So he's got to run his business off of this. So I reminded him about our past conversations. There's numerous white papers in the industry that show that effective maintenance of your facility will save you 200 to 300% a return on investment versus letting things run to fail. And that's more important now than ever. This money needs to be spent very wisely to get through the year. So, long story short, I'll be meeting with him next week and talking about setting up an asset management program for his roofs to make sure that the little bit of money that he has left is properly targeted to where it needs to be spent to maximize the most number of repairs you can make for the money, and that the money doesn't get wasted. If you've been hit like this, you feel this guy's pain, now is the time to make sure the money is spent right. So if a conversation like that makes sense to you, please reach out to me. My information is here on this post. I look forward to hearing from you, and remember to stay safe, and don't forget to follow me on LinkedIn at #RolfSnowbeck or #Rolftheroofingguy. Thanks for listening.